Thank you for tuning in to our Invest Greater Fort Lauderdale launch conference. You're about to watch panel number 1, Better Together, how Greater Fort Lauderdale can address affordability and mobility challenges. Enjoy.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Abby, thank you so much. And everyone, this is really important. And I appreciate you bringing such a wide group of folks together to really talk about some issues that we have. I just got back last night from New Orleans, the United Way of Broward County. We hosted a national ALICE summit. ALICE stands for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. It's all of our folks in our community working super hard, but always can't make their ends meet and get ahead. And one of the things that people said to me, because I have peers around the country, is, oh my goodness, I hear how Broward County, how you guys work together so well. And it is so true. We have such great public-private partnerships here, really working together to solve issues. So I would ask each of my panelists to please introduce yourself, and then we're going to have some general questions, and then I've got some pointed questions for each of you.
Thank you. I'll be brief. My name is Keith Poliakoff. I am the managing partner of a law firm called Government Law Group. We specialize in land use, zoning, government entitlements. I've been a city attorney now for 23 and a half years, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks to Invest and to its great sponsors for hosting us today.
All right, good morning. My name is Josh Levy. I'm the mayor of the city of Hollywood. Hollywood is, if you might not know, is the second largest tax base after Fort Lauderdale and Broward County. Legacy city, celebrating our centennial in next year. So we've got a beautiful city, a coastal city, a large economy for Broward County, and we're excited about this period of time where we're experiencing a renaissance through the investments that we'll talk about today. Really great. And Mayor Trentalis just walked in the room, and I was watching their commission priorities meeting, and they talked about how Fort Lauderdale had been enjoying a 75% growth in its tax base over the past 7 years. Hollywood just the same, from 13.2 billion to 23.2 billion in 7 years. So things are moving in Hollywood. We're reinvesting across the board, and we're happy to invite you all to join that. Thank you.
Carol. Good morning. I'm Carol Henderson, Deputy Executive Director for Intergovernmental and Outreach for the Broward Metropolitan Planning Organization. I lead the planning and strategies for public engagement and intergovernmental activities for the MPO. So I partner with the state, local, and federal agencies, as well as elected officials, to advocate for transportation initiatives. So it's a pleasure to be here today.
Excellent. Thank you guys so much. Actually, my back is over here, so I am going to go ahead and join the group and sit. So let's get right, let's go ahead and get right into that. Let me make sure that this is on. Yes. Okay. Terrific. Thank you. I don't want to have my back to anybody. All right. Again, collaboration, right? Affordability, mobility. One of the things I wanted to kind of open up to everybody, and then you just raise your hand and shoot in, is really, considering the wider economy of our region, how has and is collaboration between the public-private sectors been and continues to be a key element in the region's economic growth? So who wants to kind of share and tackle that a little bit and share with the group?
So I'm happy to talk about Hollywood for a minute. So, regional collaboration, how can we make things work together? Obviously, in business, you don't do everything yourself. You need vendors to work with you to help sell your product. If you're a developer, you need, the team, you need the attorney, you need the land use people, you need, yourself, the investors, you need a GC to get the job done, and then you need to market your property. So, and for a city, it's the same thing. And for a region, in the end, it's the same thing. We need all these different players to help us, bring about that, vision that we have for our city. Governments can create a lot of master plans. We can create mobility plans. But until the partners come in with funding and the private sector, which is so key, it all just remains a plan, on a slide deck. So part of the role that I have as mayor, of course, is to, and as an executive management team, we've got a lot of folks from Hollywood here, from planning and CRA and economic development. We work together to identify those areas where we know there's a big regional opportunity. It could be private property, it could be public property that we own. And we bring in the players to come in and help us make that happen. And the players are our public agency partners. It could be the county. It could be United Way. Mm-hmm. It could be the MPO. We always want the MPO. A lot of great funding for transportation projects that are the backbone of a lot of what we do. I don't want to talk, for 7 minutes here. So I'll just say that it's a great partnership that always brings out the best result.
Keith?
Yeah, sure. To jump in on what the mayor said, Hollywood is incredibly proactive in what we call P3s, public-private partnerships, for anyone who doesn't know that terminology. Two of the major projects that they did on their own initiative, one was a rundown apartment complex on Adams Street that the city actually bought because of the fact that the complex was crime-ridden, it was falling down, and the city said, this cannot be in the heart of this part of Hollywood. They bought it, they tore it down, and after several years, they did basically an RFP because the community said, we want to partner with the city to get this redeveloped. And it was redeveloped into an incredible 55-plus affordable housing development that has really become a mecca for that part of Hollywood. In addition to that, to give the mayor praise, is University Station. University Station is the first transit hub project, mobility project directly in Hollywood, in Southern Hollywood, near the Fred Lippman Center. What that is essentially Housing Trust Group came in, they worked with the city in a P3 setting, took over the land and are building workforce housing.
Purchase the land.
Building workforce housing and a transit stop for the commuter rail. So that is a perfect example of what's happening today in cities that are growing, understand the need for affordability, and understanding that if they don't have that direct access to transit, they're not going to be successful. And that's why it's great to see the MPO here also.
You know, for affordability and for folks that are working folks, you have to build housing that is close to public transportation so folks can get to work, whether it's coming to the beach, to the riverside, or out west. And the Hollywood and so many cities in Fort Lauderdale are really arranging it that way so that everybody has access and equity access. Carol, anything to add?
Just that with the MPO, we are doing projects, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later with Hollywood, we just completed, and it did have private and public participation in this mobility hub. And it's really important on the projects that we work that we have not only the collaboration of government, but private and public participation in the projects we do. And particularly with our mobility hubs that we have completed. We just completed about a year ago, the one in Fort Lauderdale here by the bus station. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the one we just completed with Hollywood.
Yeah, that's exciting. We always say government can solve everything. Philanthropy can solve everything. Business can solve everything. But if we do that together and really in innovative, transformative, and relentless ways, we can really solve really big issues. All right, let me actually get to some pointed questions for either. Carol, I'll start with you. So now the Broward MPO certainly has played a key role in successful collaboration, engaging 31 local governments, which is not easy to do, right, Dee? And on transportation planning efforts to help create jobs, support affordable housing, expand small business development. Where do you see the greatest opportunity for expanding transportation options for Broward residents? And what are the key challenges in planning multimodal access to public transportation?
Well, it's great to be here today. First of all, our mission is to collaboratively plan, prioritize, and fund diverse transportation options with a vision to have a measurable positive impact by ensuring transportation projects are well selected, funded, and delivered. So to answer your question, I'm excited to say we are currently working on the Metropolitan Transportation Plan, or we call Route to 2050. And I've left some flyers on the table, so you might want to look a little bit further on what we are doing. But this is a great opportunity. We're working with cities to plan for the future. Our goal is to include projects that deliver diverse transportation options like biking, walking, and transit for residents to reach their destination safely without relying on a car. Building more roads is not an option anymore. We're built out in Broward County. We've met our growth. We've just completed a call for projects with partner agencies, including cities, Seminole Tribe, Broward County, the Port, Tri-Rail, and FDOT to ensure the MTP captures critical transportation options for the 31 cities. We then rank the projects, we fund them, and then the partner agencies are responsible for the fruition of the projects. So that's one of the biggest opportunities. Your second question. There are many challenges with planning multimodal projects. Try saying that 6 times. The goal of the MTP is to address roadway congestion, which is also a top community concern through multimodal solutions. And I want to share one project we just completed, which we feel is a really best practice for any city. We recently opened with our partners in the city of Hollywood, thank you, Mayor Levy, a mobility hub at 441 and Hollywood Boulevard. This mobility hub, we feel, is a best practice for all municipalities. It was a collaborative effort with City, Pinnacle Housing, Memorial Health, FDOT, Broward County Transit, and the MPO. We, along with the city, funded lighting, bus shelters, 3 connector bridges to the neighborhood, along with other amenities for this linear park. This project is also joined by Pinnacle Housing, which is an affordable housing community, and they also added artwork along the linear parkway, which is wonderful. In addition, Memorial Health is opening a facility in the vicinity. So this is just a great example of how public and private partners work together for successful multimodal access for public transportation.
Yeah, it is. It's exciting and it's a game changer. And think about how many really lives that'll change as far as having just mobility and access to new jobs. Keith, I'm going to ask a little bit. So last year, we saw the rollout of the Live Local Act, which is exciting. And Walter Duke is in the audience. And I want to thank you so much for all your work on affordable housing. So the workforce housing strategy, it's to incentivize more development through tax incentives and flexibility on zoning and land use changes. How have you seen this legislation change the landscape of development in Broward County? And what are some of the challenges that local municipalities and key stakeholders on the development side may still be working through nearly a year after the bill was signed? It's not perfect, we know that, but talk about that a little bit.
Sure, it's a very complex subject. By a show of hands, how many people have heard of Live Local? Wow, a lot of people have heard about this. Now, if I ask for a show of hands, how many actually understand it? Most hands wouldn't raise.
No.
And the reason is because no one understands it. All right, and let me explain why.
True. I know.
Okay, the Florida legislature totally understood that without providing affordable housing, workforce housing, or what we call attainable housing today, there is no way to have future growth of Florida that provides economic opportunities for everyone. Live Local passed the Florida Senate 40-0. It passed the House 103-6. It was one of the full bipartisan bills that ran through the Florida legislature in a very short amount of time. But what the bill did, it basically said, we're going to force municipalities and counties to allow developers to build affordable housing, 120% AMI, if you are in a commercial or industrial zone as of right, based upon the max density allowed in the city's code, based upon the maximum height of a structure built within 1 mile of the site. It then also provided a lot of economic opportunities, 75% ad valorem tax rebates, et cetera, tax incentives for construction to get the project built. As a result of Live Local, developers who owned industrial or commercial properties, or those who wanted to get into the game, immediately started buying up properties, old hotels, old motels, properties that they felt would be perfect for development for Live Local. Then came the reality of the municipalities who said, this is going to tremendously impact and destroy our cities. As a result, cities all over started passing moratoriums, started restricting Live Local in a million different ways, saying, that's not what the Florida legislature meant. We're not going to allow it to be operated in this manner. Then came the lobbying effort. And as a result, with an earlier Florida legislative session, immediately the first bill that was shown to the Florida legislature this year was House Bill 328. And what that House bill does, it basically totally rewrites Live Local. The first thing it does is it gets rid of the industrial category. You can no longer put affordable housing in industrial, which I personally think is a little strange because it's actually a good location because it's near workforce and et cetera. It also then says we're only going to allow you to look at height within a quarter mile. And if you're next to low rise, 3 stories or less, we're going to only allow you to go to a maximum of 3 stories or 135% of that max. It does do a couple of clarifications with FAR and things that people really didn't understand. But the interesting part of this is everyone understands and recognizes that there is a need for attainable housing in Florida. But the problem comes with the implementation. The municipalities, and the mayor can definitely jump in, don't want to be dictated by the Florida legislature as to where that attainable housing should go and how it should be developed, especially in height conscientious areas like the beach. Many of you may have seen there's actually the first Live Local litigation ever filed is in Bal Harbour, because a major portion of the Bal Harbour shops was slated to be a attainable housing development, which is required to have 40% workforce housing, and the rest would be straight rental. So, you know, in answering your question, I have numerous clients who bought properties, started development plans, submitted to Hollywood. I have 2 in Hollywood right now, but they're all in a total holding pattern. There has not been one Live Local project built in the state of Florida because of the staunch opposition by local government. So hopefully that will be cured this session, and hopefully it will promote Live Local. But as a result of what's happening now, it looks like the legislature did a complete 180 and is backtracking on its promise to get more attainable housing.
And Keith, you had mentioned attainable housing is really the word we use. And this is not for people in poverty. This is teachers, this is nurses' aides, this is our service, these are social workers. These are folks who are running our economy and really keep everything afloat. And if we don't build attainable housing, again, we're not going to have a fair, equitable economy for everybody. And of course, the more folks are spending 50, 60% of their income on their housing, which means they're not shopping in your businesses. They're not opening a bank account. They're not buying a car. They're not spending their money on Las Solas. So if we can reduce that, make sure that folks are spending 30% of their income on their housing, they're going to spend more money in Broward County, which is, again, the economic cycle that we want for everybody. Now, Mayor, you guys you've got this. It is complicated, what we're talking about, but in downtown Hollywood, the city has attracted investment through hundreds of millions of dollars in public infrastructure and streetscape improvements, including widened outdoor cafe spaces, pedestrian-friendly areas. How are these investments and other initiatives making for a city that people want to live, love, work, play, raise a family, and do well in the economy in?
Yeah. So we're fortunate. Here we are, again, 100 years after the county really began in the roaring 20s, the 1920s, to have an opportunity to experience and push and create a renaissance for all the downtowns up and down coastal Broward County and coastal Miami-Dade and everywhere. Hollywood is a big part of that. We have a historic core in downtown Hollywood. It's situated on Hollywood Boulevard and the railroad tracks, Dixie Highway, only 1 mile, 1.3 miles away from the beach. So it's a great place to live, location, close to the beach, close to I-95. And you add to that opportunities for recreational enjoyment, for hotel and restaurant and cultural amenities. We have an art and culture center in downtown Hollywood. And when you create and add a lot more people living there, you create a really beautiful live work opportunity, a great place for people to live. We all, as we look towards sustainable, I know you'll talk about this at the next panel, you know, sustainable growth. Sustainable growth is more people living in a smaller space together that don't require a lot of demand on public services, a lot of roadways, be able to walk places and create a walkable, sustainable community because it's walkable and doesn't rely on, carbon consuming, mobility to get to far distances in your everyday life. So if that's one aspect of sustainable living, when you concentrate a lot of people in one place, that's the success that we all want. And it's also enjoyable because you get to walk everywhere and enjoy the beautiful outdoors. So in downtown Hollywood, We've got 3,000 units that are either under construction or planned to add to already the great number of buildings that are there now. We're creating a beautiful submarket for people to live and enjoy themselves, again, close to the beach. So I invite you, if you haven't driven by downtown Hollywood in a while, you'll see a lot of construction. We've got a lot of great partners like BTI Partners, who is here today, who have 3 projects planned and under construction right now. The state has helped, for example, in bringing the State Road Hollywood Boulevard through one of their parcels in cooperation with us in our vision of having better mobility and better throughput of that road, but creating, as a result, 2 parcels for redevelopment. It's called Block 57 North and South before its official name comes out. The state had contributed to that. The county has been a big player in understanding the value of that bifurcation. Keith worked on it and helped us push it, but we're turning around a lot of older property. That in that case, it was an old public shopping center where Publix moved already to a successful new project called the Cirque that's there with 386 units and a hotel and a new Publix. But downtown Hollywood is really blossoming. I invite you all to be a part of it. We've got, again, 3,000 units under construction. And the best part about it is, one of the great parts is that the commuter rail that we were helping to usher in, and with Broward Commuter Rail South, that'll have a station in downtown Hollywood as the first station to connect those folks with everyone in Miami-Dade County and north to FLL, the airport, and a station in South Fort Lauderdale. That'll really be a game changer. And, obviously you can use the train to go to work every day and have that and not rely on a car. But one of the things I didn't realize is I took the Bright Line from the Aventura station to Boca when it was first new and I wanted to experience it. A dean at FIU was on the train with me and said, Josh, this is exciting. When this stops in downtown Hollywood through commuter rail, people will be able, those living in downtown Hollywood, will be able to take the train south to FIU North and go to school and have an education. And so you'll be able to have people living in downtown Hollywood, working in Fort Lauderdale, working in other places, downtown Miami, and be able to, again, live in downtown Hollywood where they prefer to live, perhaps, and at the same time have that close connectivity to workplaces, to education, to cultural, destinations and what have you. So I think what commuter rail does, to get away from the subject a little bit, but commuter rail is really going to help create that opportunity to live somewhere else and connect to your workplace in an efficient manner and be able to really connect the region in a way that we don't know it today, and allow people to spread out, choose where they want to be, and be able to still get to work and not have to move because of their workplace.
And increase the quality of life for them and their families.